Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about gems. So the game has made it quite accessible to get gilded gems now, because when you do Heaven's Mandate and Cold Storage, there's a chance of getting these 7-sided gems, which you can fuse to make the 8-sided gems, and once you have 3 8-sided, you can make the triangular gilded gem. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about what are the best gems to get. So by default, there's an order of what gems that I always recommend, and that is always going to be the amethyst, the aquamarine, the diamond, the ruby, the obsidian, the garnet if you have that, as well as the citrine. And I'm going to explain why I recommend these 7 gems in particular. So obviously I've only named 7 gems, so you can fill the last slot with a random gem. So in my case, I have a sapphire. However, the reason why I have a sapphire is not because I wanted to put a sapphire, it was just because I got this from 2 troves ago. So I put it in just for the extra attack power. However, obviously if I have a better gem, I would replace this sapphire with something else. However, there's a stat that a lot of people don't really look at, and that is your secondary stat when you upgrade from an 8-sided gem into a gilded gem. So if we go over here to the transmute tab, let's take a look at the aquamarine. So here is an aquamarine, an 8-sided one on the left side, and on the right side you have the gilded one. So you can see on the left side that it gives 30 attack power, it gives 170 life drain on critical hit, it gives 10% focus recovery triggers on hit. However, if we look at the right side, it gives all of those stats just a little bit better, but in addition to that, it gives critical damage plus 300. So aquamarine should be one of your first priorities to make into a gilded, just because it gives you that extra 300 critical damage, which is actually quite a significant amount. So aquamarine is definitely up there for one of the gems that you want to make gilded. It's even more important to get a gilded aquamarine over a gilded diamond, because a gilded diamond does not give you any bonus stats. It just gives you extra attack power and that's it. While let's say if you look at the citrine, a lot of people don't like the citrine, but I really like it. The reason is because when you make a 8-sided citrine into a gilded, it gives you an extra 270 critical. So the critical stat gives you critical chance, and the critical damage stat gives you critical damage. And these two stats play a very big role further down the line, especially in your endgame to min-max your DPS. So it's really important to squeeze out as much critical chance as well as critical damage wherever you can. So these gems are a very good place to get that small boost, that instant boost of extra critical and extra critical damage. And all the gems over here have a special stat. So you can see here that a ruby, it gives you 270 piercing when it becomes a gilded triangular. And obviously when they become the squares, they give you even more stats. It goes up to 320 piercing. And it's exactly the same with the aquamarine as well. You go from 300 critical damage to 350. And for the citrine, you go from 270 to 320. There are a few gems that do not give extra stats. So for example, the diamond itself, it just gives you a flat attack power. The obsidian as well, the obsidian just gives you attack power and mystic damage. And as for the dyads, they give you the best of both worlds. They won't give you as much stats as the gem alone. So for example, the ruby over here gives 270 piercing. So let's find a ruby amethyst. So over here we have a ruby amethyst fused, right? It doesn't give as much stats. You see over here it gives 192 accuracy and 192 piercing. While we look over here by itself, it's 270 piercing. And if we were to do a direct comparison, because I know this is a dyad square, so if we were to look at the dyad triangular, you can see here this one gives 162 piercing, while the one by itself gives 270. So the dyad gems are worth it if you're stacking them. If you already have a ruby and an amethyst, and then you add in a dyad ruby amethyst, then it's worth, because you get that extra stat, you get the extra stacking on top of each other. So for dyad gems, I wouldn't go too far out of my way to try to get a dyad gem. What I would wait for are 2 specific gems. One is aquamarine. If aquamarine ever gets a dyad gem, that would be my first priority, mainly because I do appreciate the extra crit damage. And also citrine is also something to consider because it also gives you that extra critical chance. So what I would ideally want would be an aquamarine citrine fused dyad. However, that's currently not in the game. So I'm just waiting for aquamarines to get their own dyad gems, and then I will probably try to level up all my gems to squares, like what I've done here with my amethyst. So I would try to just level up all my gems slowly but surely to squares, and then just eventually get them all into fused versions with aquamarines. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in this video. The TLDR is aquamarine gilded, citrine gilded are very good gilded gems, and you shouldn't overlook them. And if you're sitting on the fence of almost making a gilded, you definitely should prioritize at least getting the gilded triangular aquamarine just for that extra 300 crit damage. But yeah, hopefully this video helped. If it did, I would appreciate a subscribe, as it really does help out my channel. And as always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome for the heals, the boosts, the rest.